Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. I have completed building the grid. So I now have 7 by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that gives us 49 squares to work with. Most of them are clear of trees, except for a couple that for whatever reason I forgot to get to. Yeah, I still need to clear trees from a few of them, but most of these grids are completely clear. This used to be water. I filled it in with landfill. It took a while to make all the landfill. Actually, all of this took a little while to do. I worked on it for a couple hours just to get it all done. That's water there too. And while I was at it, I picked up all of the radars that I had scattered around the base and replaced them all just so I could, I don't know, I kind of like to just have a minimal set of radars to cover everything. What I found is that with my current amount of radar coverage from Big Brother mod, that one radar will cover the span of about 3 grid sections. Okay, so I placed my first one right here. This one covers about 1.5 squares in either direction. So from there, I just went up 1, 2, 3, and then I placed another one. And same thing going across 1, 2, 3. There's one there. And then 1, 2, 3. There's one on this edge too. So, and that covered everything pretty nicely. It looks like I've got biter bases again, which confuses me a little bit because I thought I had Biter Be Gone installed. That should be making those go away. Startup. Let's see. Yeah, Biter Be Gone. And they're not gone. They're still there. So I don't know if maybe Biter Be Gone only works within a certain... Maybe it only works within a certain area. That could be, just to prevent it from using up too much resource. Yeah, see, we definitely got... Oh, wait a minute. No. There's nothing there. Okay, that's weird. Well, in any case, we won't get attacked anytime soon. Maybe what would be better for me to do would be just to use some console commands to get rid of all the biters permanently from the game, and then I can uninstall the mod. That would probably be better from a performance standpoint. But anyway, moving on to more important matters. Now that I've got the grid built, I'd like to start working on making things and improving the layout. I think as soon as I can, I want to pick up my starter base in these 2 grid squares so that I can clear those up to do more important things. That means that at some point I'm going to have to build a mall outside of the starter base, and I'm thinking right now that I'll put it here. It's kind of a central location. It's not exactly central. Maybe I should put it precisely in the middle. That seems like that would be a fun way to go. So let's reserve this spot for the mall, and I'm just using a gear as a way to do that. Yeah, that's precisely in the center. I haven't eliminated the oil patches yet. I'm not sure if Ore Eraser can take out oil. I suppose we could test it here real quick. Let me find a small one that's fairly inconsequential. Not the one that I've got in the base right now. 10,000. All right, well, this one is on top of my rail anyway, so let's see if Ore Eraser takes out oil. Yes, it does. Okay. All right. So that's good to know. So I can go in and I can take out the oil that's inside the grid. I'm starting to find some pretty decent oil patches outside of the grid. And now that I have the grid done, I know how much space I want to take up. What I want to start working on today is I want to get rid of this iron patch inside the grid. What I'll do is I'll move these trains. I'll build an iron ore depot over here. I'll move the trains over to that depot, and then I'll rebuild a mine over here. All right, and this patch is actually about twice as big as the one that we're on right now, and that way I can remove this patch and we can use this for building. You know, like I said before, I want to build things inside the grid and do all the mining and oil extraction outside of the grid, and then bring it into depots. And I'm thinking for the most part, I'll have the depots on the bottom side, and then we'll build from south to north. All right, so we'll have ore depots down here. We'll have smelting and so forth in the next tier, circuit production in the third tier, and so on up until we're launching rockets and doing science up in the top tiers. Okay, so let's get started. And we'll begin by building the depot. Now, since we're going to be going from south to north, I think, at least for the depot, it makes sense to put the entrance and exit on the south and north ends. And I think, yeah, I've still got some trees and stuff here. So actually, why don't we use my mini bot setup to start clearing those out. All right, I'm not going to need these prints anymore on this playthrough, although I am going to save those. I think those came in handy. Maybe I should add those to... I'll just add those to this blueprint book. There we go. And then I'll put this one down here. All right. Let's see. I've got trees up north as well. We'll just start here in this corner. And I guess there's no reason why I couldn't double this. So let's do that. We'll cover more area that way. And I left all my extra bots and roboports in the train. Let me go back and get those. There we go. I'll just get one stack of roboports. So far, I'm liking the way that the base is turning out. I hope you all do as well. Been getting a lot of really nice feedback on the series, so thanks for that. Okay, and now we can start clearing away the trees and the stone. At least up till there. All right, so we'll let that work. All right, so I think I'm gonna put an entrance in down here on the south end. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the center. I did hear from I did hear from Alex, or Alexi, I'm not sure what he goes by. And he told me that I need to clear the existing signals when I make the entrances and exits, since those prints are not meant to overlap necessarily. So that was a good tip. If you hear any squeaking in the background, that's my new dog, Susie, the standard poodle. She's in here with me, along with Cooper, as always. Okay. So that's good for going in, and that's good for going in too. All right, so this is entrance only. And then what I need to do is build a series of lanes in here that will contain a train of sufficient size. I think I'm just gonna wing it. And for those of you who speak English as a second language, when I say wing it, I mean improvise. Okay. So what I want to do here first is I want to find the center, or get as close to the center as I can. The center is actually there and there. Okay, so my entrance is not exactly centered. That's okay. I think, you know what, I think I'll just consider the entrance to be the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we're off by 1 or 2 tiles, it's not a big deal. All right, let's see. And then that's the center vertically. Okay, so here's the center. Okay, I'm going to need to pause for a moment to take care of my animals. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Maybe we can clean up the rest of this manually. But the bots are mostly done. Okay. Yeah, so for the depot, basically what I want to do is just make a series of lanes that will hold the trains that are full of ore until they're ready to disperse. So the trains will go to the ore patch, they'll fill up, and then they'll come and wait at the depot. I am interested in finding a mod. If anybody knows of a good one, I would like to find a mod that allows one to reuse wood, or use wood in some useful way besides just burning it for fuel. I mean, I guess burning it for fuel is useful, but if there was a way to, for example, turn it into solid fuel, you know, or wood pellets or something like that, I think that would be cool. Okay, so we'll split like this, and then I can have several lanes on each side. And I will move this once I get the proper length worked out. All right, so these are going to be supplier train stops. And is that long enough? No, it's not. Need to make this a bit longer, I think, to handle 12 bits of train. All right, let's see if that's big enough. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the way, there's something in the settings in interface, train visualization length. So when you put a signal or a station or a power pole next to a piece of rail, you'll see the outlines of where the train parts will go, and you can adjust how long you want that to be. It goes up to 12. I think by default it might be 8. I don't remember, but I've made mine 12, which just happens to be perfectly sized for the trains that I'm using here. All right, so I think that's I actually made this too long. Let me pick that up. Okay. All right. All right, so I'm just going to bring this down until it's just inside, which is right about there. Okay. And then that'll be the exit. Okay, and then I'll put something here just to mark the center. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so that's the middle of the train. And now I'm going to Control X. No. I'll Control C. I'll copy this whole thing from top to bottom. I'll save that. And then I'm going to pick it up and I'll put it back down so it's right in the middle. And I think a lot of this rail I can just leave in place since it's going to overlap somewhat. So I don't need to actually pick up 100% of it. There we go. And then I can edit this part out of the print. There. Yeah, and then I just make it so that this pole is pretty close to the middle. And it goes right there. Okay. So part one's complete. We're going to put signals on the bottoms. And then we'll put chain signals on the tops. Let's get another one of these over here. And we'll put those here just before they join the rest. Okay, and this we are going to call item equals iron ore 1 depot. Right, just like the other ones. Okay. Now let's start to copy and paste and see how many of these we can fit in here. Should be quite a lot, actually, because we can space them quite closely together. And I guess we may as well make them as close as possible. 3, 4, 5. 5 on each side would be 10 trains. Seems like that ought to be seems like that ought to be plenty. Yeah, we'll just do 5 per side. I think if we need any more than that, it's going to be better to make another depot closer to where the trains are needed, you know, rather than making the depot larger. Okay, and then we'll do the same on the other side. We'll do 5 over there as well. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ah, I'm out of rail. Okay. No problem. Got tons of it here. All right, and then my standard practice is to put a chain signal before these multiple branch points. It seems to cause the train to double check its path and make sure it's not going into a lane that's already occupied. And I've discussed this elsewhere as well, but when you have multiple trains coming to the same split point like this, sometimes the trains will independently choose the same lane when they leave the place that they're coming from, only to find that when they arrive, there's another train there because they both decided to go to the same place. When the second train decides to go there, it appears to be clear because the first train hasn't arrived yet. And then you can end up with a train sitting here and then another one blocking the junction because it's waiting to get into the same lane. So when you put that chain signal there, when the train arrives, it's going to check again to see if the lane it wants to go in is occupied or not, and it'll choose a different path if it already is. Okay. You know what? On the exit, I think the exit is not going to line up. Oh, yeah, it is. Awesome. Now, this is not right, is it? This could be a chain signal. That's good. We don't really need 2 signals there. I guess it doesn't hurt anything. I did remove that signal, didn't I? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's actually in the blueprint. Yeah, okay. That's all right. Yeah, and it does line up. Beautiful. Okay, so the question is, do I want to put a signal here? Or just leave that one? I guess I'll put one here. That way, as soon as the back of the train clears the signal, the next one can start to go. Okay, so we've got our first iron ore depot. And that wasn't too difficult to make. So now what I want to do is take the trains that I have in the current iron mine and get them out of there so I can clean this area up. Okay, so I think I'll begin by switching these all to manual mode. Okay, I guess that doesn't work. Okay, and then I'll pick these stations up. And then I can send them to the depot. All right, yeah, and it looks like they'll start to go out from the center. Which is rather pleasing. Okay, and now we can see the coloration from that mod. I was watching that automatic train painting mod, and it seems that it only changes colors when trains leave a station, not when they're sitting there idle. So that's why we didn't see the wagons get their coloration like we were expecting. Okay, so now we can start to disassemble all of this. And maybe it would be a good idea to use my bots for this, since there's a lot to pick up. Okay, so I'll disable the personal bots. And use these. They'll do a much faster job of it. I just have to remember not to destroy the chest this time. Okay, now I'm gonna leave the stacker here, because whatever I do end up putting in this grid section will probably require that anyway, since that's kind of the standard way to come in to the grid. So I'll go ahead and leave that there. We can reuse it later. But I will take out the entrance that I've got here. It's going to be so great when I have more bot upgrades and fusion armor and about 150 or 200 personal robots. But I have a feeling it's going to be a long time before we get that far. But that's okay. I'm kind of enjoying taking my time with this series. It's nice relaxing pace. I'm not in a hurry to get this done. Hopefully you're not in a hurry either. I suppose if you are, you wouldn't be watching hour-long Factorio videos. Okay, so let's clean this up, and then I'll get out the ore eraser. We'll get rid of this ore patch. Okay, and we're going to pick all this up. Wonderful. And then we'll remove this. Okay, let's put a 1 over here on the map. Since this is iron ore depot number 1, there will quite possibly be others. And that's how we can keep them straight. Okay, time for the ore eraser. Thank you for your service, ore patch. We're done with you. Okay. So now we just need to set up another mine, which we'll do over here. Okay. Yeah, and I think that I can actually, let me copy this. And I'll put that right here. And I'm going to want to pick up that signal right there. There we go. I got rid of the closest first mod. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. You know, that was the one that would kind of force the bots to work on whatever was closest to where you're standing at the moment. The reason I got rid of it is someone had pointed out, and I observed myself that that mod uses a lot of CPU resources, or UPS. You can check that if you hit F5. You can see here all the mods that you have running, and this first number here is how much UPS each one is using. Right? And the UPS, actually we could probably see that too, but UPS is this number here. When it drops below 60, then the game is going to be running slower than real time. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but like, for example, when you've got a assembly machine that says that a green circuit takes half a second to produce, it'll take half a second if you're running at 60 UPS, because the game wants to update 60 times a second. That's what UPS means, updates per second. So the game is designed to update 60 times per second. Once your base starts to get large, that number will start to drop below 60. And when that happens, then the green circuit production that says that it only takes half a second will actually take longer than half a second. Really what it takes is 30 update cycles. Right, so if your UPS drops below 60, then that means that your base is going to run slower in real time. Hope that makes sense. I know it's a little confusing. You know, I should have copied those. I should have copied those mining lanes, but I guess I can do that over here, right? All right, so I'm going to copy one. Well, why don't I just copy all 5, right? Let's copy all of this. I'm going to shift click. I'll take out these 2 big power poles because that might not be how I want to power them. And we'll line this up the best we can with the patch. Okay. Well, this is nice. I'll be able to fit quite a few of these on here. All right. Sorry for the pause there. More dog trouble. All right. Yeah, and that one is a little too big. Yeah. So I think looks like we'll be able to get 8 of these to fit onto that patch. Nice. Okay, and let's get some more bots to help out. They should be covered by power. And I think the closest power source is going to be off to the side here. All right, I'll have to pick these guys up on the way back. Otherwise, we'll be waiting forever for them to come back to me. Okay, I'll load that with bots. And then I will put down a storage chest. And I'll put in rails, signals, mining drills, and power poles and let them go to work. And let's put some more there. And there. Okay, they're going to need lights as well. Let's give them some lights. What are we missing? We're missing more lights. We're missing supply stop stations. Put those in there. And we're probably going to, well, I don't know if we're going to need more mining drills. Let's see. Okay, now this part here doesn't need to be this long. Okay, so I'm actually going to remove that. And all of that. And then I'll replace this down here. I just did it that way on the copper mine so that I could get everything lined up here. Yeah, see, that's an extra signal. We don't really need that one. Okay, that looks good. What are we missing? 2 more supply stops. And 5 lights. Is that it? We're only missing 5 lights? Wow, I'm surprised I had enough to build all this. Okay, let's make a handful of lights. Nice. Well, that certainly goes much faster when you have a lot of bots helping. Oh, you know what? These shouldn't be supply stops, though, should they? These should be... Yeah, these are regular train stops. Aren't they? Yeah, these are just standard train stops. Okay, and these are going to be called Iron 1 Load, I think. Yeah, Iron 1 Load. So let's do that now. Yeah, there we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now we just need to hook up the entrance and the exit, and we should be all set. I could also load speed modules in here, but I think I'll just wait. I'll wait on the modules until we have things running. Maybe I should have put this somewhere other than the center. Now, if I were to line this up precisely, which is how I often like to line things up, it would want to go right there. Oh, are you kidding me? How lucky is that? Okay, that's going to work out. So let's move the stacker. My batteries are holding up quite well, I would say. Maybe... Can I make Roboport Mark IIs? Where are the personal Roboports? There they are. No, I can't do Mark IIs. I might be able to... Maybe I should make another Roboport. Alright, so to do this quickly, here's what I'm going to do. I think that goes there. There. Okay. So now let's get that stacker back. Okay, and the stacker wants to be right here. And this is gonna, just by luck, this lines up precisely. Let me get rid of those. Okay. I'll have to move the power pole, but that's not a problem. Okay, and then let's get rid of this signal. Yeah, I think I will make a 4th personal Roboport. You know, because I'm able to do pretty significant amount of work like I am right now, and I'm still keeping a pretty full charge on my batteries. I mean, I suppose even if I had more RoboPorts and the batteries drained more quickly, it would still be okay because I would be getting more work done more quickly. So who cares if, I mean, either way, I'm going to use the same amount of power to get the job done, right? If I get it done more quickly and drain power more quickly, then it's not really a problem. Okay. Well, this is all very nice. So where now shall I go to reconnect? First, I think I'll go and get my airplane so that I can move around a little more quickly. Actually, what I really should add are exoskeleton legs. That's what I should do instead of bots. That'll save me a lot more time probably than having more bots. All right, now I could bring this back over. Yeah, see, this is too close. I can't exit over here. So I think what I'll do is I'll bring this over and exit down there. All right, so let's find single sections. There we go. 4 straight sections. I'm not going to need all 4. Oh, I need blue circuits for the exoskeleton. Well, I can make more. In fact, I think before I conclude today, I'm going to set up a small factory just to make some blue circuits. Okay, we don't need that. Actually, we don't need this either. What I'll do is let's lose the signals, and we'll put our exit right here. Yeah, and I'll just leave it like that. What? Add a rail. Okay. Now this is outside of radar coverage. I wish I could build just a regular radar. I don't necessarily want to use these huge radars all the time. Well, I'll just leave it for now. If I'm going to add more radar, I'd like to space it out like I did with these, which would be like, would put the next one way over here, I think, and then it still wouldn't cover it. I would need another one up here. All right, so I guess I'll just deviate from my grid, from my radar grid, just for the sake of having visibility over here. I do want to see it. Okay. All right, so let's make a few blue circuits. We've got the acid, we've got the green circuits, and we've got the blue circuits, so, or the red circuits, I mean. Okay. So So we could do, I could pick all this up actually. I don't think I'm going to need this train anymore. Okay, so we need to get some acid brought in here. Okay, and right now I only have it going down to the train. Okay. Well, that worked out nicely. Okay, so here I've got red circuits and blue inserters. Here, let's there we go. All right. I'll just limit that to 1 stack each. And we need another RoboPort over here. I have an awful lot of RoboPorts for a base where I don't really want to use bots. Okay, almost ready then. And then I'll need to get some electric engines, which I have plenty of down here. I need how many? 30. There. Okay. So I'm going to have to lose Ooh. Okay. Well, no, that's fine. I can still do this. Let's see. So I'm going to have to lose 8 solar panels. I'll put that there. Put that there. And then put those back in. Okay. And now I can run faster. What I'm curious about is how much power does this use? 200 kilowatts. Okay, so that's 200 kilowatts. My reactor makes 150. So I will drain my batteries a little bit while I'm running around. At least at nighttime. During the day, I'll be making more than enough with my solar panels. Yeah, because the solar makes 30 kilowatts each. And I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I've got 17 of those, so that's 300 and something kilowatts. That's a lot of power. Okay, so this is a decent layout for now. It's nighttime now, and it actually looks like it's still charging. Isn't it nighttime? Okay, now it's daytime. All right, so in daytime I should be able to run around without depleting batteries. All right, yeah, so that's pretty good. And we can always turn that on and off if I want to conserve my battery power. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.